Well, hello friends. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching this video. My name is Tiffany Huckelman, and I help solo entrepreneurs help them figure out how to attract the right kind of clients for them and systematically scale their business with a team they love. Last year, about this time, my dad had just passed away. He passed away unexpectedly 2 days after Thanksgiving, and understandably, it sent me kind of reeling for a bit. And if you've ever dealt with grief of that kind, there's a lot that happens, especially in the weeks that follow. There's the emotional grieving process. But then there's also the arrangements that have to be taken care of. There's taking care of the people around you, the other people around you that are grieving. It's taking care of also your normal household duties. It's taking care of normal life and school. And as a business owner, it's also taking care of the business. So it proved to be a challenging time, as always. Death is never an exciting topic, but it proved to be a challenging time. And the business I was concerned about because I didn't have the capacity, the brain power, the mental and emotional power to put to it. But here's what was interesting is because I had been working with my team, we had systems in place that the business was able to run without me for the time that I needed to take. And that was an amazing feeling as a business owner, to know that my business could still keep operating, could still serve my clients, our clients, could still be making money, even though I needed to take a step back to take care of myself and my family. That was a pretty powerful thing, especially in the middle of the holidays. So here we are again at the crazy time of the year, right? The holidays are happening. It's the end of the year. You're trying to wrap things up. You're trying to ramp up for the new year. There's so much happening. There's parties, there's family activities, there's shopping, there's just ending out the year mentally and finalizing what this year has been for your business, getting ready for the next year, doing goal planning, strategic planning. There's taxes to prepare for. There's all of those kind of things that kind of get lumped on us at the end of the year, which can be pretty stressful. Then you add in things like normal family obligations, school, work, all of the pressures that come onto us at the end of this year. And so I want to encourage all of us today to rethink how the end of the year time needs to be for you. And here's one way that you can do it. I want you to think about systematizing your year end. Now, it doesn't sound exciting necessarily. Creating systems is not necessarily the most fun thing, unless you're like me and you geek out on them. But having those systems in place can help give you back the time and energy that you may feel you're missing right now. I talk about this with my clients all the time, as far as being able to help scale their business and to be able to be able to delegate some of the things that they need to get off their plate so that other people can do them, to be able to grow their business without diluting their brand. Systems can do all of this for us. So I talk to my clients who are small business owners all the time about creating those systems to give them that freedom and that time and that energy back. And especially at this time of year when we desperately need as much time and energy as we can get, the systems are going to help us be able to get through the holidays and get through the year end, but also be able to deal with unexpected situations. Say the passing of a loved one, illness. There's so many things that are happening. My Facebook feed is filled with things that are happening to people right now that just make this time of year that much more stressful. So having the systems in place for the things that happen all the time. Generally speaking, the things that you do around the holiday time. Gift buying, maybe Christmas cards, parties that you throw, parties that you attend, family activities that you attend. What do you do to wrap up your year end? Do you declutter your office? Do you do some goal setting for the next year? Do you send an out of office message? Do you I'm trying to think of some of the other things that we do around here. Do you do holiday baking? All of those things, like we have our traditions, we have our routines that to get ready for the holidays, decorating, all of those things we can actually systematize. So let's break it down into one tiny example. I'm going to give you this 4 steps to make this really simple on yourself. And now is the time, actually, while you're in the middle of doing it, now is the time to be thinking about this, because you can be thinking about what are the things that I'm doing now that I know that I do every year, that I could write down how I do it and things I need to remember so that next year is so much easier. So the first thing I want you to do is think about just one thing that you do at your year end that you want to systematize. Just think about one. Let's keep this small. It would be easy to throw so much to your brain of all the systems that you want to create that your brain will explode. And that's not what we need right now. Right now, we need to calm. We need to get focused. So think about one thing. I'm going to talk about our Christmas cards. So there have been years where I just don't send out Christmas cards because it's too much stress, it's too much to think about, and it's just one of the things I have to let go. This year, however, I wanted to send out Christmas cards, and I'd like to get in the habit of being able to do that regularly. So here's what I did. First of all, I figured out that that's the one system I want to work on. The next thing is I need to figure out, so I've named the system, and now I need to figure out what's the end result. How do I know that this system is done? So that's the next step. Figure out what that system is, and then identify what the end of that system is. So Christmas cards is my system. The end is the Christmas cards are in the hands of the post office. I'm done with them. I don't have to think about it anymore. Now, with that kind of fence, with the boundaries, I can think about what I need to do to get from thinking about doing Christmas cards to getting them done. So what are the things I need to do? Well, if I want to do a family portrait, I need to get that family portrait done, or I need to pick out the picture that we're going to use. I need to, if I'm going to have something printed, I need to get that designed. I need to pick out the design I'm going to use. I need to figure out how I'm going to print them. If I'm going to write a letter, I need to write that letter. And in my house, my husband does the first draft because he's really good at kind of getting that down, and then I go through and kind of edit it, and then we kind of come back together and we agree. We've got the end product. So there's a few steps there. So first, Matt has to write it, then I have to schedule to make sure that I review it and edit it, and then he has to review it again, and then I get it into the format that we're going to print. So there's a lot of little bitty steps in there, but especially since somebody else is involved, like that needs to be planned so that he has time. He knows when he needs to write it by. And I know that I'm expecting him to write it so that I have time to block it off. So that's something that we think about too. Then, do I have enough stamps? Who am I going to send them to? So I need to take time to review my list. And I print out my labels, so I need to take time to print the labels. Then I need to be able to stuff and address and stamp them. Then I need to get them to the post office, and I have several that are out of the country, so I need to make sure to keep those separate so that they don't get regular first class stamps on them, and I need to take them to the post office and get postage. So it's all of those things that when I didn't have a system would stress me out because I'd forget about it. I'd forget that I had to do something like hold those 5 cards aside to be mailed out of the country. Or that, oh my gosh, I forgot to get enough stamps. All of those little things stressed me out because I forgot about them. Or in the middle of the night, I'd wake up thinking about them. And that's what caused the stress. So what I finally did this year is I wrote down all of those little steps so that next year I've got that system that I can just pull up and say, okay, this is what we need to do. And I'm going to pull it up in October so that I can think through October, November, December, and start scheduling these things out. Again, that might seem overwhelming or stressful, but I tell you what, doing it has made this holiday season so much better and so much easier for us because I had scheduled in our holiday cards. I had scheduled in my holiday baking. I had scheduled in even Christmas shopping. When was I going to do online shopping? All of those things I had scheduled in my calendar. Some of them moved, but I knew there was a block there, and I knew if I was going to schedule something in that block, I could move it somewhere else. So that way I knew that everything was going to be done. And here we are a week before Christmas. I have 99.9% of my shopping done. I have all my holiday baking done. Wrapping is still going to be our biggest issue this weekend, but we have time. It's not the day before. So having these systems in place has really been huge for us. I'll tell you where it kind of translated into the business as well. Even thinking about client gifts and my team gifts, I started thinking about it then in October, so that I knew when I needed to have them purchased by, when I needed to decide what they were going to be. Thinking through all of those things allowed me and my assistant to make sure that we were hitting deadlines without crunching at the very end. So the steps, I kind of went through them a little quickly. Sorry about that. So the first step is just identify a system that you want to, that you know that you do every year without fail, that you want to systematize. Then name that system and give it an end. What's the end of the system? So that's step number 2. The third step is then think about each little thing that needs to happen in that process, and give that task a name, and who's going to do it, and if there's a time range, if it needs to be done 3 weeks prior, it needs to be done the day before, if there's a time range that needs to be done, put that in there too. And then once you do that, then test it, and so the next time you go through it, test it, do it, tweak it, and tweak it, and then you've got it ready for next year. Now, there's a lot of ways to hold this. What could be coming up? One of the questions that I get is, how do I even track this? So it could be as simple as a Word document. It could be a Google document. I use a project a task management software called Asana, and so I can save my templates in there and then just save them from year to year, make a copy of it from year to year, and adjust them as I need to. But I tell you what, having the systems has made my life so less stressed this year, because I had been thinking about this long in the future. Or long ahead, early on in the year. So thinking about your year end, how does that translate into your business? How does that translate into your personal life? What are those things that you can be doing right now as you're going through them that you could think about systematizing them? Systematizing one thing, like my Christmas cards, shouldn't take me more than 5, maybe 10 minutes if I really have to think it through, but 5 minutes. Like, I know the steps I have to do, but thinking about them while I'm doing them makes sure that I don't forget something, so that next year it comes back around, and I don't have to rethink it. So let's save brain power. So that's my tip for today. Think about systematizing your year end. Think about, even how are you going to do your business planning for next year? Systematize that. There are thought processes that you go through every year that get you to that point. So just think about those kind of things to make sure that you're not recreating the wheel every single time, because that can suck up so much energy, so much time, and take you away from what you really want to be doing, and that's spending time with your family and friends. So I hope that helps. I meant to mention this before, but if you're watching live, I'd love for you to comment in the comments here. If one, that you're here, hello, tell me where you're watching from, and tell me a system that you're thinking that you'd like to maybe develop for this year. If you're watching on replay, welcome, that's wonderful. Type replay in the comments so that I know you're here, and also share with us one system that you're going to think about systematizing, documenting for this year, so that next year is so much better. So I hope that helps. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I can't believe this is the end of 2019, but here we are. This is my last Facebook Live of 2019, and I will look forward to seeing you in 2020. Bye.